Welcome to Tom's Tech Notes. This video shows how to edit videos recorded on a camera using CyberLink PowerDirector Video Editor version 15.0. In this video, we'll take two files recorded on the camera, we'll import them into PowerDirector, we'll split them into pieces called clips, and then we'll rearrange and combine those clips to form a single output video. Welcome to Tom's Tech Notes. This YouTube video is part of playlist How to Make Home Videos in section Computer Help on YouTube channel Tom's Tech Notes. Videos in the playlist should be watched in order from the playlist page. Here are the URLs for the playlist, the channel, and my Computer Help website. You can also find the channel by searching for TOMSTDA, and on some devices, clickable links will be visible in the video window. For this example, we'll import two camera recordings, show how to locate the points where we want to split the videos, then show how to rearrange or delete the video clips to build our final video. First, remove the camera's SD card and plug it into the computer slot. Open the folder for the SD card. Drag the video files from the memory card to the desktop. Next, open CyberLink and import those two files from the camera by dragging the files from the desktop to the icon for CyberLink PowerDirector. Next, drag the two files from the upper left corner of the PowerDirector window onto the timeline. I'll just put them on two separate tracks. Now when you're working with two tracks and you play, you'll get both sounds in both videos. So what you want to do is disable one of the tracks while you work with the other. To disable this video, uncheck this box. To disable the audio, uncheck that box. Now when you play the video in the preview window, you'll only see the video from track 1 and hear its sound. What you do is you play it back and forth until you locate the exact point you want to split the video. You can refer to the waveform for the audio, and you can refer to the picture you see on the display to locate the point exactly. There are tricks to locating the point exactly. One, you can expand the timeline by dragging this pointer. Makes it much easier to locate items on the screen because they're spread out further. Now what you do, you can position the play point by dragging this arrow. So I want to locate the beginning of this part, and the way to do that is drag the progress pointer across. And for this, it's probably accurate enough just to do that. So now it's right before the audio starts, which is where I want to split. So I just click the split button. Now I'm going to be working with this part. I don't need this part, so I can click it and delete it. I'm going to go ahead and fill the gap. That means this part, this gap that would be here, will go away and this will get shifted over. I want to do the same thing at the end. I want to get rid of this unused part where the audio stops. So let's do that. Remember, you have to select it before you can split it. Now push delete key to get rid of that. So now we've got a section clipped out of the original file. But let's say we want to split it somewhere in the middle, and we're looking for a key phrase. So what you'll do is you'll drag this back and forth and you'll play it until you hear the exact words you want. That's how you'll locate it and see whatever's on the screen to identify where it is you want to break it. So you'll very accurately position it. Now there's tricks to positioning it. You can fine-tune the position looking at the audio by clicking these two arrows. This fine adjust, this advances it in tiny steps to the right, and this moves it in small steps to the left. Watch this pointer as I repeatedly click the right arrow. It moves very slowly. You can actually pin it down to an individual frame of the video if you're trying to locate where the scene changed. Now, another way to do that is trial and error playing it and using the numbers here. This is actually set to give you the frame number. So if you think that's the right position, note that number down, 2210, play it. If you discover that's not exactly what you want, you can come back to that same spot using the numbers. In other words, do this. If you played it forward, those numbers change, but you wanted to go back to 2210 to double check. So you back it up very carefully. Fine adjust it with this guy, 2210. Now you're exactly where you were. And let's say you were at the end of a word and you, by experience, you know that maybe 3 clicks will get you where you exactly want to be. Maybe you were inhaling and you want to get rid of the inhaling sound. So you can position it very accurately using the numbers and the fine adjust arrows. This will reset to the beginning of the track you're in. So if you click this, it goes back to the beginning. So anyway, let's say you've discovered exactly where it is you want to split this clip into 2 parts. And so you just make sure it's selected, split it. Now let's say you want to rearrange things. So let's say you want that piece, but you want to put it here. So you locate a point here where you want to insert it. You do the same thing. You'll be watching that part in the preview display. Deselect the first one, so you just see and hear this one. You'll position it where you want to do an insertion. Then you'll split it. And now you're going to insert that here. What I usually do is open a gap by dragging this over. For safety, when you're starting out, make a gap that's bigger than the piece you're going to insert. So just drag this further over. Drag it down until you get used to working with lining up things exactly. There's an easy way to do it. I have gaps on both sides. Click in the gap, press delete. It brings it over, leaves no gap. Do the same thing on this side. Bring it over, leave no gap. Now you will find sometimes when you've done certain operations and when you click there and you hit delete, it doesn't move it over. The next thing to try is to right click in the gap and see if there's an option to move it over. If there isn't, just click and drag and be very careful not to overlap it. So now I've taken a piece off the end of this one, I've inserted it in there. That's how you would insert a piece from one video in another. And remember, what I've done is I've joined parts of one file with a part I pulled out of another file or extracted from another file. So that's how you combine the videos, pieces of videos into one video, rearrange them to your heart's content, delete. For instance, if I wanted to found out that there was a section in here I really wanted to delete, I'd go through the process of exactly finding out where it was by using the preview and playing through the area I want to delete. I would have put splits on both ends. And then let's say I wanted to delete that gap, so what I do is I click it once to select it, then hit the delete key, and I do want to move this over, so what I do is I remove and fill gap. So that's all you need to know to be able to simply join pieces of videos and play them back and rearrange pieces from 2 videos to build one final video. The last thing you do when you do this is you get rid of the other pieces that are scattered around on your screen, because it'll output them all into the video. The final video would have the sound from this guy and the sound from this guy, so you get rid of all the pieces you don't want to produce in your final video. So I've selected it, I'll hit delete. I'll select the middle piece to show you a slight complication as to how the preview window works. Whenever you've selected a piece within the video, a clip within the video, when you advance this pointer in the preview window, it only advances from side to side in the selected piece. And the numbers here start at 0 here and go, in this case, to 22:29 here. So if you're using those numbers to position within that piece, there is a complication when you start to play it. Because when you play it, it deselects the piece you had selected, and now these numbers represent the position within the entire video that you're working on. So you got to remember those numbers flip. When you're selected, it's the position within the selection. When you're not selected, it's the position within the entire video on that track. So if you were using the selected numbers to position it, and you played a section, and you now want to reposition, you have to reselect the piece you're working on, so the numbers will be right. So keep that in mind, and you'll be able to position your split points very accurately to chop up the video and remove sections, rearrange sections, and so forth. Once you've got it all done, you hit the Produce button. Always select H.264 MP4. There are choices here, but be sure you select MP4. You'll be much happier with the videos being output from the editor. So the name of the output file is going to be Produce, and you can either wait until it's finished and rename it on your desktop, and I do have it on the desktop as discussed in the previous video. I've reset it so that it puts it on the desktop. You can either output it called Produce, or you can rename it right here if you want. Either way is fine. I usually just rename it on the desktop. So when you hit start, it will produce the edited video that we've just created, and it will put it in a file called produce.mp4. Now when it says complete up here, you've got a couple of options. You could just go ahead and close the editor by clicking the X box, and when it asks you if you want to save the changes you've just made to the video, say no, because you've just output the edited video. What I really would suggest you do to save yourself a lot of time, when you think you're through editing the video and you're ready to produce it, play it through in the editor one more time. I guarantee you will see other changes you forgot to make. It's much easier to make them while you're still in the editor than it is to output the file, have to bring it back into the editor and edit it again. Because if you do that, you will have lost all the split points. They all get removed, and the whole thing is one continuous piece in the output file. To visit my channel page, Tom's Tech Notes, please type this URL into your browser, or click my name, Thomas Wallace, or my photo if they appear on the video page, or just Google search for TOMSTDA. When viewing this video on some devices, clickable links for these URLs may appear in your window.